Yes, 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 yes. Yes! That was a goal.
Iniesta, taquito de Iniesta.
Maestro Iniesta.
Quería Robben. Primero Navas, el niño. Va atacando que apunta español el niño para Iniesta. Fábregas, Iniesta. ¡Gol!
Moutinho, Ronaldo isolado, vamos ver, leva para o Brasil, Ronaldo, leva para o Brasil, Ronaldo, bate, gol, ele é o único que ultrapassa os limites da lógica, Ronaldo, no mata-mapa, Ronaldo matou, samba, Ronaldo!
See that? He must have a foot like a traction engine.
Tagliata, messa fuori, c'è Pirlo, ancora Pirlo di tacco, tiro, gol di Grosso.
Hello everybody, welcome to the show about the World Cup. I'm here with my friends Mike and Alex. We're here to discuss the teams in the World Cup, the players, everything that can matter, everything that matters, everything that's interesting. We're all here to talk about the World Cup. So we're going to look at the first group. We're all experts, so we're going to look at the first groups. In the first group, we're going to talk about the 4 teams in the first group. Great teams. We like them all. Brazil, Croatia, Mexico, Cameroon. Powerhouse after powerhouse after powerhouse after powerhouse. For me, I think this is a tight group. I think the group is relatively tight compared to other groups. There might be some blowouts towards the end when we discuss, the last groups with Algeria and the shit like that. But this group is for me, is gonna be pretty tight. I save Mexico because I don't know about Mexico. Mexico, their form in qualifying was really bad, so I think it's gonna go over into the World Cup. Maybe not. So Mexico is a team that can compete. But I think Croatia, Brazil, Cameroon are too strong. I think Croatia is particularly very strong. A lot of people underestimate Croatia, but they're going to come back in force. This is one of the first tournaments that they're coming back. And Brazil too, of course, they're favorites to win it all. But I hate Brazil. I think they're a shitty team. I think they're all a bunch of individual players, and I hate Scolari. So I'm going to call Croatia and Brazil to go through, and hopefully Croatia goes first. But it probably won't happen. What does my buddy Alex think about the situation?
I think it's pretty much a given that Brazil is going to finish first. I think I think this isn't the best Brazil team we've ever seen, but the fact that they're playing at home gives them the advantage over
everybody
anyone
says
in
that.
the tournament.
Everybody says that.
I mean, look at Germany in 2006. It was a pretty mediocre squad that, with the home support, they really lifted them to the semis. I mean, I don't think anything's going to change here. I think the same thing could be said about Brazil. As far as the other teams in the group, I think Cameroon is a long shot. So I think they're pretty much just happy to be there. Croatia and Mexico, I think the second place is going to go to either one of them. To be honest, I think Croatia has a bit more on Mexico. Mexico have struggled in qualifying. They haven't looked that impressive. Croatia has more top-class players, guys like Luka Modric and Mandzukic. So that's it. Brazil 1, Croatia 2. Pretty easy to predict, and put money on those results.
All right. You don't think Samuel Eto'o will make a difference in this tournament? He's coming off an average season of Chelsea.
No, he wasn't a big protagonist this year at Chelsea. He'll be there. Maybe he might get a goal or two, but I can't really picture him doing anything against
You don't see
Brazil.
him carrying a team?
No. He can't carry. He's not Maradona. He's no.
Mike, how do you feel about Eto'o?
Well, I disagree with Eto'o. I think he's getting older, and we're seeing that now that he's playing with Chelsea, he's not the same player he was with Inter. He's not the same player he was with Barcelona. Then he sort of disappeared. He was out of circulation. He was in Russia. And
Highest paid player in the world while he was in Russia, by the way.
well, I know he was making about €9 million when he was with Inter. I'll take that gladly. But I see Cameroon finishing dead last. I disagree with you with Brazil. I don't think they're just. I don't think they're a shitty team. First of all, I don't think that they're just a team of individuals. Like I've been really watching a lot of interviews. Interviews that have been done with some of the Brazilian players, and they're talking about like the brotherhood. Like they're talking about how they feel like they're part of a fraternity or something. Like a really. They feel like they're a group of brothers. They feel like they're doing something really important, and they have the chance to win a World Cup in Brazil. And there were players many years ago who had that chance, and it didn't end up happening. Brazil lost to Uruguay in the final. So they kind of they know that just because they're in Brazil doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to win, but they want to win because they want to go down as legends. And, you know, it's every Brazilian's dream to win a World Cup. Looking at the other teams in the group, I got Mexico over Croatia. I'm taking Mexico over Croatia, even though, you know, you did say that they didn't do well in Confederations Cup. They didn't do well previously. For that reason, because they were so disappointed, like they were a big disappointment. Basically, they went to Brazil just to mess around with like dirty whores. Basically, they had dirty whores coming in and out of their hotel rooms, and that was the big story for Mexico. Is they didn't go there concentrated.
They're trannies, not just dirty whores. Trannies.
Well, you know, every guy has his thing, and you know, I respect.
Not every guy has this thing, man. Alex, you ever been into a tranny?
No.
Me neither.
I haven't either, but I'm just saying, you know, some guys, you know, like pussy, other guys like taking it in the ass. That's just how it is, you know.
The Mexico players like taking it in the ass.
Mexico players, I guess they like to change it up every now and then.
Chicharito.
How do you think it helps their form? Taking in the ass.
Well, I think it definitely gives them a good workout if that's what you're saying. Then
Probably, yeah.
I didn't think honestly we were going to be talking about cocks and stuff because I know that I can go on and on with that type of the discussion if that's the case. But
I don't remember where I read it, but I read somewhere that we needed to honor Cuauhtemoc Blanco for some strange reason. I think it was on.
Cock and mouth Blanco.
He played in the last World Cup. He was one of the oldest players at that World Cup.
Really good player.
Really good player that scored some legendary goals for Mexico, right?
Bunny hop.
But this year, who are we taking from Mexico? We're looking at guys like.
Wait, before we get into the players, do you guys think if this tournament was being held on a neutral field in another country, maybe I don't know, Zaire, would Brazil be as rated or as favored as they are?
definitely.
Still, even you don't think the home support is really what's?
Yeah, I do. I think the home support is the cloud underneath Brazil that's going to take them far. Because other than that, honestly, I really think that this team is too fragmented. Players are just a little bit all over the place. When they play, they do seem a little bit disjointed. I don't see Joga Bonito anymore. I haven't seen it for a long time. But this team is not bringing it back in any way. And
but it's still pretty like.
There's a lot of talent on the field, for sure. You have a lot of huge names. These guys are crazy. Like,
Hold on. Let's look at the results that they've had. They've at least, you know, going back to last year, they've won the Confederations Cup. And just because you play Joga Bonito doesn't mean you win a World Cup. And you look back to some teams that played Joga Bonito, maybe the best team who played that type of soccer in 1982, was it? With Socrates, with Zico, Falcao playing in the middle, really world-class players. Like truly a joy to watch these players play. They didn't win the World Cup. Who won? A team that was like solid, like Italy. So I think that for sure, if they're playing in some place like Zaire, like a place that's completely neutral, it's gonna whatever. Who gives a shit? Canada, anywhere. For sure, it will radically diminish their chances of winning the World Cup. It's obvious that whenever you're playing in your country, you're gonna do a lot better. But I still think that they would be a top contender. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, for sure they will.
I would like Brazil more to win this tournament if they had someone like Diego Costa, who was a complete and total mercenary, over someone like Fred. Fred's a decent player. He connects well with Neymar, but I think a healthy Diego Costa and Brazil's chances shoot up by 10 points automatically. Okay, so who do you guys think are going to be the standout players of this group?
This shitty group.
Yeah.
Neymar.
Guaranteed Neymar. Of course, he's going to be the standout player. I mean, he has the ball probably 80% of the time.
Yeah.
He's going to carry. He's going to dribble. He's going to be their guy.
Yeah, Neymar definitely the standout.
But it's also what he was doing without the ball. Because as soon as Brazil was losing possession during the Confederations Cup, a lot of the forwards were really pitching in and they were making a difference.
Who are we talking about here?
I'm talking about Neymar. I'm talking about Brazil in general.
But who are the other forwards pinching in and helping?
Well, there was also Hulk.
Hulk is a beast, isn't he?
You have a lot of skill in the midfield, guys like Fernandinho and Bernard, Oscar.
I think their strengths
Ramirez.
are really in the middle of the park. Oscar, Ramirez, these guys are strong, solid players. Lots of equipment, experience, playing with each other.
And you also have smart,
Hernandez?
intelligent midfielders like Hernandez. And, I really like Enrique, the Napoli player. He's a guy who could literally play in any position.
But they don't need any more than they already have, man. It's enough with Brazil. Give it. They need it's. You can't root for fucking Brazil. It's just you can't go for Brazil. Like you can't. It's like going for the best team.
Another player I think is going to shine in this group is Young Ino from Cameroon. I predict great things for the player who plays his club football in Antalyaspor in Turkey.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's the first time I've ever heard of that player and club.
Yeah. Looking at Croatia, I really like Mandzukic, and also Luka Modric, and even the Sevilla player Rakitic, who was really good in the Europa League final. I think they have enough guns to finish second to do better than Mexico. I mean, Mexico, they have a lot of local players, which I don't rate the Mexican league that much, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Modric is one of the best players in the world, best midfielders in the world. I think he can help his team to pick up some points. Mike, last words.
No, that's pretty much it. We can wrap it up. I think we can move on to the next group.
Troya.
Putana.
Okay, well now let's have a nice look at Group B. Group B. Some nice teams in Group B. A very strong group. Spain, Netherlands, Chile, and Australia. Honestly, there's two teams that I really dislike in this group. Maybe one. Spain. I hate Spain. Even them, I don't want anything good to happen to them anymore. Tired of it. I'm tired of Spain. So what I want to see from this group advancing is Chile and I guess Holland. I think Holland are a strong team. This time around, they won't get embarrassed like they did in 2010. I don't know. What was it, 2010? Where did they get fucked in Holland? They got fucked in
2012.
2012 in Euro 2012, right? This time they won't get fucked. Let me tell you. They're not going to get fucked this time. This time they're coming back strong, hard. We have a lot of strong, older players, but still very talented. So my call is Chile, Netherlands. That's a purely emotional call. I don't want Spain to go far, but of course they might. They probably will. But my call is Chile, Holland. Bello ragazzo. Now, the next guy who's going to talk about this group, his name is Alex. Go ahead, Alex.
Okay, Spain should finish first, no question. best team in the world, best team in the tournament. I think that Holland is being very overrated. I think they're more or less the same squad. The important players are still there: Van Persie, Robin, Nigel de Jong. But I noticed that they have a lot of local PSV players, which I'm not familiar with most of them, but really, I mean, they can't be good. A guy like Dirk Kuyt, he's been there forever. I don't find him to be top class or top quality.
Even Huntelaar doesn't seem to perform at the national level either.
Huntelaar is pure filth and crap.
He's good for his club, though.
Good for his club, but nowhere else. I watched Chile the other night versus Egypt, and I have to say I really wasn't impressed with their back line. Egypt caught them on the counter twice. They were up 2-0 within the first 20 minutes of the game.
Egypt was.
Sorry, what?
Egypt was up 2-0.
Egypt was up 2-0, 20 minutes in. So I don't know. I think that I would like to see Spain trip because I would like to see Italy avoid them in the quarters if they finish first. But I don't fancy either Netherlands or Chile after what I saw recently. I think that Chile might surprise the Netherlands. So Spain first and possibly Chile second. Australia is another team that's just happy to be there. They're probably going to be 3-0.
Yeah, I don't see them picking up points against any of these teams, honestly. Very difficult. Unless there's no chance really for a surprise. There's no like opening game where I remember when Spain lost to Switzerland. It was like an opening game of the group, so it was a little bit more nervous. Little teams didn't know how to take each other. But now we're starting with Spain-Holland.
Yeah, but Spain should win this game pretty easy.
And then Chile-Australia. So
really, where is Holland? They're not better than Spain anywhere in the field. I think in 4 years, Spain are pretty much maybe the better team than they were in 2010. And I think Netherlands have digressed slightly. For Netherlands, it's still the same players: Robin, Schneider, Van Persie. Spain are more or less the same, but they added some new guns here and there, especially now that they have Diego Costa. Hopefully, he's not too hurt, and we'll see him play in the tournament. There's a couple of other interesting guys that are coming off good seasons, like Koke and Juan Fran. And then there's the usual list of giants: Iniesta, Fabregas, David Villa, David Silva. And the list goes on and on. Spain's B team could enter this tournament as well, and probably reach the semis.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's nuts. Mike, you believe that?
Well, listen, Spain is the best team in the world, so I have them finishing first. It's almost like a toss-up between Netherlands and Chile. I favor Netherlands. I also caught a glimpse of that Chile-Egypt game, and basically they were described as playing suicide soccer. Chile is a team that they can score a few goals. They have a really lethal couple, 2 or 3 players up front, in the likes of Edu Vargas and Alexis Sanchez.
Sanchez.
And then you got an attacking midfield like Arturo Vidal, who can make the difference. But other than that, for the back, there's not really a defensive back line that can hold their own and take this team, I think, past the group stage and into the round of 16. Chile also has a couple other interesting attacking players. They have a player called Valdivia, O Mago, the magician is what he's called in Brazil. Plays his club level football at Palmeiras. He's basically the flag of the team, the captain, classic trequartista. He might be injured for the first couple games, but he could be a guy that comes on, and he might be able to play in his stadium in Sao Paulo. So I think Chile's gonna be. I'm gonna call them maybe the most fun team to watch in this tournament, but I think they don't go through. And Australia finishing that last. Sorry, Alex, go ahead.
Don't forget they also have Mauricio Pinilla, who is a prolific Serie A scorer with Cagliari. I'm joking.
All right. Okay, good. We looked at Group B. So
pretty easy to.
It's easy to call, but I think you guys I think you guys are still putting a lot of faith in Spain. I'm seeing Holland tearing up this group. It's gonna be the Van Persie show, I think.
You're wrong.
I'm gonna eat my words, bro. I'm gonna eat them.
Who do you think is going to be the standout players of this group here?
I don't know, honestly. I mean, like I said, I think it's gonna be somebody Dutch. I think the Dutchmen are gonna start flying again very soon. If not, maybe a Chilean, somebody striker for Chilean. A nice little goal that we saw the other night there. What's his name from Vargas?
Edu Vargas.
A nice little chip goal. He has some nice control. We can see he can finish. So
He's a
maybe
quick
somebody
slip.
young like that comes out of this group and starts kicking ass, taking names. Mike, any opinions on breakout killer?
Difference maker is what you want to.
Yeah, the fucking bulldog,
I'll just say Iniesta.
Iniesta, jaw face.
I think that killers in this group, Electric Sanchez from Chile. And I'm tipping David Villa to have a good tournament.
David Villa, nice. Il Chicharron.
That's his name. Nickname.
No, I'm joking.
Should be. Group C.
All right, guys. Group C. Group C is a crazy group. We saw some of the teams play also recently. Colombia, Greece, Ivory Coast, Japan. And, this is a nice group. I really think we're going to see a competitive aspect with this group because we have Colombia, fucking firepower in Colombia. Very, very strong offensive team. Greece, pretty much the opposite. Parks the bus, counter-attacking football. And we have Ivory Coast. Aging fucking Drogba, but he could still do it. He proved it the other day with a nice fucking free kick. Beautiful over-the-wall stuff. Nice. Did you guys see the beard he was sporting now? That fucking beard he has now. Did you see it?
That's pretty nice.
Beautiful.
Did you see the amount of pubic hair he has on his penis?
It goes with the amount of fucking hair that he has on his face. It's beautiful. Anyway, Japan, I didn't get a chance to see it. I'm not sure if they played any friendlies yet or if they played them earlier, but pretty much a threat as always. Strong team. So I'm calling Colombia, Ivory Coast in this group. I think they're gonna be the strongest. With Japan maybe contending, but overall, I'm seeing Drogba and company making a last push because they've been fucked with the last World Cups. They've been given pretty tough groups, but now I think they've got a relatively easy group compared to their last World Cups, being in groups of death up until now. So, Ivory Coast, Colombia. Falcao from the bench cheering everybody on, cheerleading. It's going to be a good Colombian team, a strong Colombian team.
You have Ivory Coast first.
No, I don't know about the placement, but I just know both are finishing. Maybe Colombia first. Most probably Colombia first because they'll hopefully score a lot of goals. We'll see a lot of goals coming from the Colombianos.
Los Cafeteros.
Mike.
Change it up a bit. I'll go. So I got Colombia finishing first, Japan finishing second, and I also think they're going to be the most, fun teams to watch in this group. It's going to be fun to watch Colombia, Japan. Probably going to be a fast game. Good soccer. Less interested in the other ones, even though I'm going to be watching Colombia, Ivory Coast live. Got Colombia finishing first all the way, and for me, I don't even consider them a dark horse. I think they're a reality. Falcao's not there. It doesn't matter. They got Alexis Sanchez. They got Jackson Martinez, Muriel, Cuadrado on the flanks. They got Armero, Juan Camilo Zuniga. Maybe they're lacking something central area of defense.
You don't like Mario Yepes?
I don't know who he is.
Plays for Atalanta.
Really? Oh, Yepes. Yes, of course I know Yepes. But imagine Yepes a few years younger.
Yeah.
Imagine Yepes in his prime.
He's 30.
Imagine Yepes coupled with Juan Ramiro Cordova.
Yeah, good point.
Then we would really be talking about how Colombia is a complete team. But I mean, he's kind of old, Yepes looks like a fucking dirtbag too. Doesn't shower or shave very often. But good player. Maybe 4 years ago, if we would have had that type of player in his prime, then with the former captain Juan Ramiro Cordova, then this would be really like a complete team.
I agree.
Good.
I think that this group is going to be a lot closer than people imagine, and in some ways, it's also maybe one of the groups of death, not because of the quality of all the teams in there, but I think that all these teams in this group have a good shot of getting out. Colombia probably has the most quality out of all four. However, I'm not too impressed with Ivory Coast. I think they have good pace. I just think they're a dumb team. I don't think they defend well.
I think their problem is not mostly in defense, but in goalkeeping. They've had a lot of trouble with getting a number one in the past few years. And just recently, they're friendly against who was it again? Who did they?
Bosnia.
It was bad goalkeeping on a lot of goals, a lot of bad goalkeeping. So I don't know if they can find a number one, or if they can find form back in the net. They'll be a strong team to contend with.
I think they attack, like classic, African teams, just burn it down the wing and then look for a hard cross and find somebody, hopefully a Drogba or someone of that nature. So that's why I guess, they weren't on par. They won't be on par. They weren't on par with a team like Bosnia, who pretty much dominated that game. But when Drogba came on, it made a difference, and they actually played better. So
that's true.
I guess this could be a team where one single individual does make a difference.
But if a team like Bosnia does an absolute demolition job on Ivory Coast, I can see a Japan and maybe a Greece getting a similar result. Greece, I think, are an absolute disgrace of a team. Yet every tournament they find a way to grind out results, playing counter-attacking, defensive, very, very stingy soccer. So I wouldn't rule them out. Japan have some interesting players, guys like Kagawa, Nagatomo, and their ace in the hole is the fact that they have a very experienced Italian coach, which is a jewel, an absolute treat for teams.
Real bijou, bro.
So,
Are we talking about Zaccheroni?
yeah, we're talking about Zaccheroni.
I don't like him.
He's a good coach.
Why don't you like him, Mike?
Well, aside from pretty much taking Milan to winning a Scudetto in his first year, right? If I'm not mistaken, on his first year, he was
Yeah.
able to accomplish that amazing feat. But other than that, like, he's had really mediocre success, and with mediocre teams.
Still, I mean, he's very praised. The Japanese players like playing for him. They seem to click under his system. I think they play a nice counter-attacking, offensive soccer. So I think they could probably surprise Ivory Coast. To be honest, this is the only group I'm not too sure. Good Money has Colombia finishing first, and in my opinion, it's a toss-up between the three for the second. Because, like I said, Cote d'Ivoire, fantastic team, some good talent, but not the brightest crayons in the box. Greece, not that strong of a squad, could grind out results. Japan, maybe not the best or physical in comparison to Ivory Coast, but they're well coached, well prepared. So for me, this is one of the more interesting groups if we're talking about just based on the results.
We saw Greece in action yesterday against Portugal, 0-0. Played their pretty much first team. I think so. A lot of big names on the team.
Was Salpangidis playing?
Salpingidis.
What about Piangiotis Kone?
I'm not sure. I think they were all there, but it was a pretty boring game overall.
What about Socrates Papastadopoulos?
Yeah, he was there. I saw him. On the field. All right, guys. We just looked at Group C. And
Stand-up players.
Stand-out players? All right, stand-out players. Let's get crazy.
Cuadrado. Cuadrado's going to have a breakout World Cup, and he's probably going to earn a big money transfer from Fiorentina to Barca.
Wow.
Yeah, probably a Colombian player, Cuadrado. I would probably put my money on Cuadrado.
You, Jeff?
Cuadrado. Yeah, I guess I'll go with either Colombian or Japanese because I'm saying that. Yeah, so I'm gonna say either a Luis Muriel or if he plays Valencia, somebody attacking in Colombia, somebody strong.
Group D.
The most interesting group, as per Alex, probably the best group, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the best group. The best group: Costa Rica, England, Italy, Uruguay. Now, these four teams in the same group is wild. It's fucked. There's a lot of competition in this group. A lot of strong individual players. A lot of great minds. Also, a lot of players that are gonna pretty much leave us after this tournament, right? Between Italy and England, a lot of guys was last tournament. Lots swan song.
Well, you got Pirlo in Italy,
Pirlo in Italy,
Lampard and Gerrard in England.
Lampard and Gerrard,
I can't. There's no word on Buffon whether he's
Gigi Boof.
he's retiring or not. I think it would depend on the result. If Italy wins the World Cup, there's no doubt. I think that he'll retire.
It's done.
Look, Dino Zoff won a World Cup at the age of 40.
40.
I would rate.
And it's not like Gigi Boof is getting less good. He's just as good as he was. I think so. Anyway,
Sometimes it looks like, he has a string of games in Serie A where he's not at the top anymore. But then he comes and plays for Italy, and he's always, he looks like the best goalkeeper in the world.
absolutely. That's what matters. He needs to be good for 4 weeks.
7 games.
7 games, bello ragazzo. So Italy, England, Uruguay, Costa Rica. I'm going to say Uruguay to get out of the group, and I'm going to say Italy to get out of the group.
Why?
Well, listen, Uruguay, it's the firepower, it's the strength, it's the two names that we're definitely all going to be looking at for numbers. Cavani, Suarez. These two guys, Suarez alone, we know that he's a game changer when he handballs the ball out of the net against Ghana. Huh? He's a dirty player, but he's yes.
La mano del diablo.
Yeah. Well, listen, he's strong too. He's a good player. He scores beautiful goals and he scores them often. So I'm calling Uruguay to get out of the group just based on those two guys.
Suarez is injured.
He's hurt, so he won't be starting.
Probably going to be coming in around the second game, and I'm not sure if he's going to be 100%.
Oh, well, listen.
That's,
It puts a damper on the chances, that's for sure.
But say a Suarez at 75 is better than, your average striker.
It's better-
Your average
better than-
Uruguayan.
It's better than Luca Toni at 100.
So we'll go on with that. Uruguay, Italy. Italy just because them two, when it's tournament time, they grind out results. And I think England this time around, not going to happen for them. So those are my call. Uruguay, Italy. Bello.
Okay, I think that we're seeing an end of an era for Uruguay because I just don't. I saw them starting to decline during qualifications. They weren't getting the same sort of amount of success they were versus their South American counterparts. I think that they're an easy team to scout, even though they're still hard to stop. Cavani and Suarez are probably, if you're just basing your attack on 2 players, they're the strongest in the tournament, bar none. They could probably score on any defense in this tournament. But with the Suarez injury, coupled with them not doing well in their qualifying campaign, I think teams are starting to figure them out. Italy has an advantage because they saw Uruguay in the Confeds, and they even more or less played with their B team. I think a full strength Italy could definitely get the win on Uruguay. England, Roy Hodgson did a smart thing. He's bringing 23 mostly young players. There's a lot of young players on the squad, coupled with veterans like Rooney, Lampard, Gerrard, etc. But he's bringing athletes, guys like Sturridge, Welbeck, Barkley, the young U21. They're strong, they're fit, and they're going to give teams in this tournament problems. I have no doubts. I think the Italy-England match is going to be a lot tougher than people think. Italy should finish first. However, you can never put it past the Italians to get an embarrassing result. I could see them beating England or drawing England and like losing to Costa Rica and then beating Uruguay. That's just an Italian team. That's just what they do. But based on, we don't know the weather conditions yet, and just based on their roster, I'll have to say Italy 1 and England 2. I think England they have a very good chance of getting a point off Italy, and I think they have a very good chance of beating Uruguay. I think Costa Rica, everyone from CONCACAF is saying that they'll be a surprise. So that remains to be seen, but we'll see what happens.
Miguel.
Well, look, as we're getting closer to the World Cup, I feel like less and less comfortable making predictions about this group. Saw Italy playing like really a shitty game against Ireland yesterday, and I was predicting that Italy would finish top, but I don't know. I don't know. Look, let's just automatically rule out Costa Rica. I don't really ever remember them being in a World Cup. The only time I remember anything about Costa Rica was in 2006 when they were in Germany's group, and they had an outstanding player called Juan Chope, who
Pablo Wanchop.
yeah played in
Pablo.
England and Rosario Central in Argentina, but they still ended up scoring like basically just a couple of goals, but didn't get any points. So I'm expecting for them not to get any points. I don't know who they have on this team, but I don't know, Uruguay, like I'm uncomfortable making predictions because now you're in a situation where Suarez is at risk. He might not even, I don't know, he might not be playing in the first couple games. He might be 70%, 60%. So, look, I'm just going to stick to my original prediction, which was Italy topping the group, followed by Uruguay. The combination of Suarez and Cavani, really lethal. And they both did well in Confederations Cup, both Italy and Uruguay. They ended up playing each other in the third place game, and they both looked like they actually gave a shit about that game. Italy ended up winning it, but Uruguay always looked, dangerous when they were coming forward. So I'm going to stick to that. I'm going to stick to my Italy topping the group, even though they've played like complete shit in the friendly that I just saw recently. Also, we have to take into consideration that a lot of their starting players weren't there. I'm worried. I'm really worried about Italy, and I'm also worried when I hear a guy like Gianluigi Buffon saying, if this Italian team makes it to the quarterfinals, that would be an excellent result for us. It's never something that you want to hear, the leader, the captain of your team coming out and saying it. Just like it almost makes me lose complete hope.
But what do you want him to say? That they're going to go to the finals? You can't shoot too high.
I don't want him to say anything.
Yeah, no predictions.
I don't want him to come out and declare, look, if we make it to the quarterfinals, this is a great result for us.
But I mean, I think it would be a great result for quarterfinals, the final 8. I mean, I think that's pretty much the Italy's.
Look, if somebody came up to me and told me, I'm gonna put this down on paper for you, Italy's making it to the quarterfinals, I would say no, because I want to dream. It's the World Cup. The whole point is to win win the trophy.
He'd just be modest, though. Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I don't know if he's playing down the odds, but I don't appreciate that.
I think the better move is not to say anything, just to say we're going to play as hard as we can, and wherever we get is the best that we can achieve.
I think he truly believes that Italy is maybe a semifinal team, and he's trying to tell the fans, he's trying to set their expectations low, so that if they do go further than quarters, it's seen as a big accomplishment rather than,
Look, I don't want to spend too much time just on Italy because I'm an Italy supporter, but, if we look at the World Cup in a more general way, I would say, teams like Brazil, Spain, Germany, maybe you're in that first tier of teams. Argentina, I'll also throw in as that first tier of teams that will probably likely win the World Cup. But then, that second tier of teams, and I think that we potentially have, in this group, 3 teams that are part of that second tier of teams that have a decent, outside, not even outside chance at, but a real concrete chance of taking it all in Uruguay, Italy, and England.
If Italy get out of the group, who do they face? They face the winners of. They face depending on.
Well, if they finish top,
C, right?
They play the second place of Group C, which could either be, according to our predictions, either Japan or Ivory Coast.
Well, listen, then it's very likely that they go to become quarterfinalists if they do, right?
Look, Italy doesn't have the luxury of approaching the group stage like they normally do, which is, you do the turnover in the second game or the third game, depending on how many points you have. I think Italy will really have to play their top guns. They can't rely on their second string players, and we saw that yesterday. Their second string players didn't look like they were getting the job done, So, in what types of condition are these? How's Pirlo going to be? In what type of shape is Pirlo going to be if he actually gets to a game 7?
I don't think
At his age,
but I don't think form or fitness was ever an issue for Pirlo. They said that he was always in shape. He never really had a problem with fitness. I don't think. I think if there's going to be an issue with fitness, it's going to be the weather. They're predicting that high humidity is going to have an effect on almost all the games, especially the ones played in Manaus.
yeah. Italy does have some luck with the locations that they're playing in. The first game is in Manaus, if I'm not mistaken. Then they're playing their second and third game in Recife and Natal. I'm assuming they're gonna take the bus to get to their third game from either it's Recife to Natal or Natal to Recife, and they won't have jet lag because they're in very close proximity. So that's maybe a little advantage that Italy has.
Who do you think is going to stand out from this group? I think that Rooney is going to finally break his England duck, and he's going to get a couple of goals here.
There's a lot of people that are drawing parallels to the 2002 tournament. And was it in 2002 that Rooney lost his mind, or was it in Euro 2004?
Euro 2004 was Rooney's debut.
Yeah.
World Cup 2006 is where was his World Cup.
It wasn't exactly that tournament, but maybe if you can find form around that time, yeah, for sure you can carry England.
He has hair now this World Cup.
His hair.
Oh yeah, you got plugs.
Shrek.
Rogaine?
Shrek, bro. They should paint him green this tournament, for sure. It would be amazing. Imagine they had fucking white kit with a green Rooney running up and down the pitch.
I would put my money on Cavani because I have Uruguay going through, and with Suarez maybe out of the picture, the goals are going to come from who? They're going to come from Cavani.
I agree with you, Mike. I think Cavani is going to turn on beast mode.
And no one likes Balotelli?
I don't know. Honestly, with this Italian team, I don't know, especially Balotelli with the season he had. I do remember last year how good he was in the Confederations Cup. And really, the Brazilians were in love with this guy. They were chanting his name. Usually, it's the opposite. They're usually booing Balotelli for whatever stupid antics he's up to. So I guess Brazilians, really recognize greatness. And if Balotelli could just turn it up a couple notches, then I have a lot of faith in Italy. So that's the X factor for Italy. It's
Balotelli. All right, Group E: Switzerland, Ecuador, France, Honduras. Guys, recently I think France is gonna get crazy. Recently I've been revising my opinion. France is gonna lose it. They're gonna kill everybody in the group, and they're gonna come out top of the group. Ribery is too strong. His scar is too big, and he's gonna have to do something to fix his reputation, and he needs a World Cup. After France, I have no idea. It's a total toss-up. Ecuador, Switzerland, Honduras. I'm falling asleep just reading the names of the teams in this group because it's gonna be fucking boring. I'm hoping France make it interesting with a lot of goals. I can't tell you anything about any of these teams. Honestly, I'm gonna choose a team randomly. Honduras second, France, Honduras. That's it. See what happens.
What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Jeff. You look at France, you really look at the players in this team, and how do you not see France finishing top in this group? And the thing is, France has a major advantage of being, first of all, in such a shit group, but then they're playing against the second place of another shit group, right? I think we're talking about the next group, which is the group that features Argentina and basically 3 other teams that really aren't up to par.
Yeah. Bosnia, Iran, and Nigeria.
So, I mean, look, France, I would say, is the luckiest team in this tournament because...
I would put Argentina.
Yeah. Actually, I
Well-
take that back. But there's...
But hang on, they're exactly the same situation, both teams.
Switzerland has quality in there. More than Bosnia, Iran, and Nigeria.
Well, then if that's the case, then it would be France. That's the luckier of the two.
Yeah, because then you find Argentina in a situation where they would be,
Right.
They would be playing Switzerland. And against, a tough midfield like Switzerland, since we're looking at this group with a lot of Napoli players, Zemaili, Berami, Inler, tough, central midfielders that get the job done, even though they're not necessarily world class. But I mean, there's too much quality on the French team. Too much. Really, they even look better than some of the previous France teams. And the thing about France is either they're complete garbage or they go all the way to the final.
Yeah, they're very bipolar like that.
So that they're a hard team to really predict what they're going to do. But you look at this group, there's no way they're not coming out of it.
No, for
Come
sure.
on.
For sure.
And then Honduras, look, I'm in the same boat with Jeff. I don't know any of the players who played for the Honduras team. And I guess the same thing goes for Ecuador. Alex, enlighten us with your knowledge about Honduras and
This fucking
Ecuador,
team,
please.
France is going to beat up.
Okay, if France don't finish first in this group, there's absolutely no hope for French football. They should just close the federation and never compete again. However, Switzerland have skill. They have a lot of world-class players. I really like the Bayern Munich winger, Shaqiri. I think he's one of the best in the world at his position. And they have obviously the Napoli trio of Inler, Berami, and Zemaili. I rate Zemaili a lot. And they have some skill in other places of the field. I also like that guy from, hold on a second, from Borussia Mönchengladbach, Xhaka. I've seen him play a couple of times. I think he's a really interesting 21-year-old. And he's actually getting transferred to he's actually getting rumored to be transferred to some of the best teams in Europe. So yeah, France should finish first in the group. If they don't, they're completely hopeless. I cannot tell you anything about Honduras. I saw them maybe. The only thing I know from Honduras is that they smashed Canada 8-2 on the road to the World Cup, which is not impressive considering that it was Canada, but still, it seemed like they had some good offensive talent. Ecuador did good to qualify for the World Cup. They had an impressive run. However, I think that they're outmatched by both France and Switzerland. So yeah, I don't like the French. Hopefully they implode like they did in 2010 with the prostitute scandal and then the falling apart of the team where Raymond Domenech lost control of the team.
Yeah.
So hopefully something similar like that happens, but I doubt it. So yeah, France 1, Switzerland 2. Not much else to say.
Question for you, Al.
Yeah.
How do you think France matches up with some of what we described as second-tier teams like the likes of Italy, England, Uruguay that we saw in the previous group?
I only think that France
are being favored so highly because of the road to the quarters are pretty much, I would say secured, because if you look at the opposing Group F, besides Argentina, you have Bosnia, Iran, and Nigeria, and France should have their way with them. But if you compare France to, let's say, a Spain or a Brazil or Argentina, they're good, but they're not at that level. They have some very good technical players, Frank Ribéry, Paul Pogba. In attack, they have Benzema, Giroud. But are they better than...
But I hear those names, and these are all names that, you know, I matched them up player for player against Italy, England, and Uruguay. And, I mean, they look better. I mean, if you match them up each player for player against Italy, Italy's midfield and attack.
I don't think necessarily that France is better than Italy. I think just based on Italian tactics and the way Italians play these tournaments, I think that they're probably, if head-to-head, they probably have the edge on France. I think that maybe France is better than Uruguay and England. I'll give them that. But, you know, I place both Italy and France behind Argentina, the Brazil, the Spains. I think this is the second tier we're talking about.
All right.
Interesting player. Who do you think is going to stand out?
Standout player from the group.
We're looking at a French player, obviously.
Yeah.
Paul Pogba.
Yeah. Paul Pogba.
Pogba, yeah, or Benzema. I'm guessing a lot of the goals are going to come from Benzema. We're going to remember him the most. All right, Group F. The group of another lopsided group, I guess. Although we saw Bosnia yesterday. Argentina, Bosnia, Herzegovina, Iran, Nigeria. We saw Bosnia yesterday, like we talked about in Group, what was it, B or C, against Ivory Coast, and they looked really good, really good, smooth, solid football. Ball always on the floor, most of the time on the floor. Short, concise passing, very good ball control. I really like the team Bosnia, and I remember Portugal having a lot of trouble against them in the playoff, if I'm not mistaken. For qualifying for either the Euro or the World Cup. I can't remember. But they're going to be a very strong team in this group. Argentina obviously will as well. I won't bother talking about them. Everybody knows about Argentina. So for sure, we know they qualify. Top group. Bosnia as well, second. Nigeria, nice match scandal, match-fixing scandal the other day. Very, very nice stuff. Hopefully we could see some of the same craziness at the World Cup. And Iran, I read somewhere that the female national team has guys in it because and you can't really tell because they have to wear the hijab. So there's these guys that are dressed up as chicks and they play the Iran national side. So Argentina, Bosnia, Herzegovina 1-2, easy, and it looks like a nice setup for France, Switzerland. We're gonna be looking at. It would be fucking crazy if somehow Argentina drops points and ends up second and faces France in the round of 16. Some craziness like that, or vice versa. I don't know how maybe France does that, finishes second somehow. But yeah, that's it. That's what I'm calling.
Okay, no way in hell Argentina don't finish first.
Okay.
They will not drop points to anyone in this team. It's more than likely the top scorer of this World Cup will come from Argentina, because I don't see how any defender in Bosnia, Iran, or Nigeria will stop Kun, Aguero, Messi, and Higuain. That's just it's too tall an order. Bosnia is very good. I really like their the partnership I see forming between Edin Dzeko and Miralem Pjanic. I think that those two are the two of the best in the world at their positions. Iran, Nigeria, who really cares? Iran, fourth, fifth tier, sixth tier maybe even of the world football. Nigeria have some interesting players, but the glory days of the 90s are over. So 3 and out for them, 3 and out for Iran. Bosnia gets points on both Iran and Nigeria. Argentina 1, Bosnia 2. Bet the house.
Yeah, I agree. Honestly, I didn't know too much about Bosnia and Herzegovina. I didn't even know Pjanic was from there.
Yeah.
So that was a discovery for me, and I caught them playing against Ivory Coast, and I was really impressed. Obviously, Dzeko did what he does best, is putting the ball in the back of the net. There was also an interesting player that I saw, don't know too much about, but Visca, who was playing in like a supporting position. Look, any Latino that I'm talking to these days is telling me how Argentina is going to destroy in this World Cup. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they're going to win the World Cup. Obviously, they're going to destroy in this group. That's a given, absolute given. But they might lack something. They might lack something maybe in the back line. Mascherano's probably, I'm assuming, Al, going to be playing as a central defender, right?
No.
So, I mean, Fernandez is going to be one guy who's not
Fernandez.
world class, but he's a decent player.
Decent.
You know?
Di Michelis.
Always did well in a back four. Always did well with Argentina.
Garay was like one of the best in the world right now. I rate him very high. No, I mean, I think the fact that people are saying Argentina have a weak backline, that's it's a myth. I
It's
think
false.
That's false because they have.
What about their goalkeeper, Romero?
I don't think he's the. If I'm not mistaken, it's actually no, you're right. It is Romero. I was gonna say Mariano Andujar, but I'm pretty sure he's the second string.
Well, all right then. And then they have a lot of similar midfielders like Mascherano. I mean,
Well,
that
they
can
have-
more or less do a little bit of attacking and defensive, like Gago. I think
Gago, yeah.
is Mascherano, Gago type of midfielders. Biglia, right?
Lucas Biglia, who plays for Lazio.
Like very similar
One
in
of their
style,
best
and
players.
then I'm not sure what type of formation they're playing.
4-3-3.
4-3-3.
Yeah, mostly.
So De Maria is probably going to find himself not.
Well,
in
what they
a-
do
in the
usually is
starting lineup.
they play Gago and Mascherano in the mid with Di Maria as a winger, and then they play Messi on the opposite side in a more advanced position with Kun Agüero and Higuain. But they mix around a lot. Sometimes they play Lavezzi, and Palacio.
Yeah, I mean they have a lot of options, and they have a lot of options when they can leave out Tevez, which I think is absolutely crazy.
I don't think that's crazy because he's already in 2010. Maradona brought 9 attacking options, which was ludicrous because it left them very weak in midfield and very weak in.
And
in
Maradona
defense.
made a few mistakes.
He made it more than a few, and they got absolutely torn apart by the Germans 4-0 in the quarters, which was hilarious. I don't see this team being as dumb as that Maradona team. And I think they play better. And I think they don't need Tevez because I think the coach, Sabella, he's looking at Tevez. He's looking at Messi. He's looking at Higuain. He's looking at Kun. And he's saying, these are my guys. I'm going with you. I don't need anyone else. And I'll also couple with the fact that Tevez apparently is a bit of a pain in the ass in the locker room. And there's a lot of jealousy, supposedly, between he and Messi. I think that he's a bit of a virus. And the fact that he plays for Juventus is perfect. And, yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, that just tells you how much depth they have, and also Pastore is another big name that was left home,
Pastore's
right?
cut, also Lamela cut.
A lot of big names that
They
didn't
don't
make
need
this
these,
World
but they
Cup.
don't need them. Like,
But these are all, players that can make some of the best. Like Tevez would be starting for Italy, for example. You know what I mean?
granted, but I mean, when you have Messi already and Kun Agüero, and then you need an option on the bench, like you can have someone as good as Lavezzi or Palacio. Like Tevez is already a surplus to the requirements. Like Tevez is a guy who shouldn't be on the bench. He should be playing. However, if you already have Messi and you already have Agüero or Higuain, Messi's too much. It's really a surplus.
So you think that Argentina is a team that could go really far? They can go all the way. They look like they're going to be like the third most supported team, like behind obviously Brazil and probably Colombia.
They're going to be one of the favorite. Probably, I think the odds makers are putting them at second favorite behind Brazil to win the World Cup. Not only because they have some of the best players in the world, but because this tournament is being played in South America, and they're going to be well supported in Brazil.
Well, listen, the second place is a good place to put him. I mean, any team that has proven goal scorers like Messi, Kun Aguero, and Di Maria, there's really no chance that you can't.
It's all about the harmony of the team.
It's all about the harmony of the team, but you have damn good chances of scoring goals if all your guys are good goal scorers. But the thing is that when you bring Tevez along, Tevez is a fan favorite. He's a big name with the fans in Argentina, with the people of
Bigger
Argentina.
than Messi.
I think bigger than Messi. I mean, Messi left when he was really, really young. I mean, he hardly spent any time in Argentina.
The RGs love Messi. He's like a god now.
I think the mainstream RGs love Messi, but I think deep down Messi hasn't been loyal to Argentina, leaving when he was whenever.
No matter what, you're gonna leave somebody out. Like you're gonna leave like a fan favorite out.
Yeah.
Maradona left out Javier Zanetti. Maradona left out Riquelme. Well,
Yeah.
there were reasons for that.
Yeah, but he brought back like guys like Veron. You know, past his prime.
Instead of Riquelme.
He made some very dumb moves, and I think that right now they have a real coach, so they have a better chance.
What do you expect from a guy who's hooked on coke? Who was hooked on coke, I guess.
Listen, we're not.
You expect
gonna,
some good decisions
We're
out
not
of it.
we're not gonna say anything to disgrace the name of the greatest player of all time.
Yeah, this is not a show to disgrace Maradona. the
No, let's not
greatest player of
disgrace
all time.
Maradona. It's well documented that he was on.
Okay,
Listen.
so pretty much across the board, we're all Argentina 1, Bosnia 2.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's it.
And the standout players of this, besides the obvious for players from Argentina, anyone in this group do you see standing out?
Dzeko.
Jacko.
Dzeko, for you guys, I say Pjanic. I think he's going to have a good tournament.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe Ibisevic too from Bosnia. He's second striker to Dzeko, so definitely. If it's not an Argentinian, it's one of those two guys. No fucking Iranians.
No Iranians.
No terrorism.
Syrians.
No Nigerians either.
Okay, so Group G, the group of death. Good group, in my opinion now, the best group of all the groups. Germany, Ghana, USA, Portugal. So we're looking at a very strong group with some recent news affecting the group. Germany, finalist was named. No striker, no real young striker bringing Klose again and Kevin Volland. Portugal, more news. Ronaldo is more or less hurt. 10 days, 10 day needed to recovery, something like that. Bad news. Haven't heard anything about Ghana. Same old, I guess. No injuries, no nothing. And of course, Landy gets left off by Klinsmann for the USA squad. Does that change the group at all? That big news about Landy and Klose coming to the World Cup and no real striker from Germany. These are basically the focal points. So Al, what do you think? What's the impact?
Nothing.
No,
Doesn't
no change.
Doesn't change the results at all. This is being called the group of death. However, I don't see it being anything other than either Germany or Portugal leaving this group, first and second, possibly to be decided. But Germany is way too strong, way too experienced to drop points to either Ghana or USA. I think Portugal, on the back of Cristiano Ronaldo, will have another fantastic tournament. And people are really overrating the United States. And the American fans seem to think that it's a gimme that they'll get 3 points against Ghana. And I don't think so at all. I think Ghana have a lot more world-class players than the USA.
Yep.
I think USA maybe, in my eyes, only have one world-class player in Michael Bradley. I think Klinsmann is probably the worst coach.
Well, listen, Clint Dempsey is also a very, very good player.
He sucked last year. He had to come back to the MLS. From what I heard, he wasn't having a good season. They dropped their best player, Landon Donovan, just so that Klinsmann can cut a backdoor deal with Julian Green, who doesn't even speak English, so he can come to the World Cup.
That's the weirdest thing of all time.
USA sucks. They aren't getting. They're lucky to get 1 point. They lose 6 against both Germany and Portugal. If they're lucky, they'll get a point off Ghana. So I'm predicting a bad World Cup for them.
Yeah.
Ghana have a lot of good technical skill, a lot of good players. I really, 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 really like Asamoah, the fullback who plays his club football in Juventus. And yeah, Germany, the only thing that concerns me about Germany is they don't have a real striker. Well, they have a striker in Klose, but let's be honest, he's really getting up there in age. And they seem to be producing a lot of really good offensive midfield talent, but how they're not producing any good center forwards, it's kind of a mystery to me. If they could get someone on the level of a Lewandowski, obviously he's Polish, or a Mandzukic, they'd be probably higher up in the. I'd feel better about them winning the World Cup.
Well, in my opinion, they do have someone, Mario Gomez.
Oh, he's not there.
He's not there.
No.
Well, they need somebody that they didn't take with them. I don't understand. Mario Gomez is definitely on the
But he's
level
injured.
of Mandzukic. He's hurt?
He's hurt.
He was riddled, with injuries the whole season.
Riddled. All right, well, listen.
What about you, Mike? What do you think?
Mike.
Well, just going back, looking at the group, I'm really favoring Germany and Portugal. The other day I was talking with Jeff about the rivals in this group, right? USA, Ghana, big rival. Then you were talking about there being rivals, between USA and Germany, given that the coach Klinsmann is German, and he's, looking to impress, doing well against his national side that he played for. Look, against USA, I think USA is going to have a horrible tournament. I think it's going to be bad for, American soccer, but that's just a reality. That's just what's going to happen. I think they're going to get really, I don't know, murdered, but if they don't pick up any points, 0 points in the group stage, it's like totally possible. And I don't think they win a single game either.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Even with or without Landon Donovan, it's 3-0 for the USA.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Landon Donovan is a game changer.
It doesn't matter. And
Again, what game are you going to change against Portugal and Germany?
Listen.
even looking at like some of Ghana's players, really talk about US being a really strong physical presence, team. But
Ghana have some animals on this team.
I mean, they do. They have animals. They have Asamoah, Essien, Muntari.
Boateng.
Really tough, central midfielders that
guys
can.
are strong.
Boateng is a fucking beast.
They're just beasts, and
Big.
they can put the ball in the net from outside the box too, And
Big guys.
Big fucking guys, bro.
Then you got the quality of a guy like Kevin Prince Boateng, and I don't know. They could surprise. They could steal a win maybe somewhere and
Win, yeah, definitely
against the
States.
USA.
Yeah.
I can see it happening totally. And then the only question is, will Klinsmann still be there after this World Cup? I think.
The United States have entrusted Klinsmann not only with their men's national team, but with their entire program. Like, he wanted complete control of their program.
Madness.
And I think that it's all going to come crashing down because the U.S. Federation are just a bunch of idiots. They've wanted Klinsmann for years, despite him having never won anything as a manager. The closest he came to winning something was a bronze medal in the World Cup being played in his own country. So, I mean, what was his greatest managerial feat was beating Argentina in the quarterfinals on penalty kicks. He was completely humiliated as a manager of Bayern Munich, yet the United States U.S. Soccer Federation wanted him to be entrusted with their entire program. So USA is going to fail because they deserve it.
You're not impressed.
No.
All right. So
Standout players of this group.
Cristiano Ronaldo, number 1, baby. He's going to put them all in. Every single ball he receives at his feet, back of the net.
You don't think Helder Postiga is going to have a breakout 7?
Believe it or not, Helder Postiga is our second most important player. I'll tell you why. Helder Postiga is the one that's pulling players towards Ronaldo and away from him. He's getting 2-3 guys on Ronaldo. Postiga should be alone in the middle, waiting for balls. Put him in with his head, with his feet, whatever. But he's our go-to striker. What do you want? He's not that talented, but he should be able to put him in because of all the attention that Nani and Ronaldo should be taking dribbling on the wings. So if they can get those balls in, Postiga should have a way to put them in the back of the net. Go-to guys, stand-up players. Like I said, Ronaldo, maybe Klose if he can do it one last time. one last time, pull a fucking rabbit out of his hat. He should be able to do it for Germany if they go far in this tournament.
I have no idea. I mean, I don't want to say Ronaldo because it's the obvious choice, but for the sake of being different, I'll say Ozil, because he started well with Arsenal and kind of dipped off at the end. But I think this is going to be. I think he's the best player in this German midfield, and I think I'm tipping Germany to do good things in this World Cup. So I'm picking him to be the star.
I guess it all depends on whether Cristiano Ronaldo is healthy, but I favor Cristiano Ronaldo.
Are we all saying Germany 1, Portugal 2?
Yeah, I am at least.
You too, Jeff?
Yeah, I'll say the same thing. Even though in my heart of hearts, I believe that Portugal should finish first.
Art of arts.
My heart of hearts. That's it for Group G, bello ragazzo. Okay, Group H. Here we go. Ready. Algeria, Belgium, Korea Republic, Russia. All right, so another little bit of a lopsided group, but still very competitive, very, very strong. Sometimes teams underestimated. Korea Republic, Russia, very strong qualifying campaign. Finished top of the qualifying group. Korea too had a very strong campaign, if I'm not mistaken. And of course, Belgium, the most important, I guess, dark horse of this tournament. Strong team nucleus playing in the EPL. So listen, I'm going to go with Belgium first and Russia second. I think Korea, although fast, although smart soccer, I think they're not going to go through this year. Same thing for Algeria. Algeria, a very young team. I see some potential maybe over some in Africa and the next maybe a World Cup. But I think right now, too early. So Belgium, Russia, 1 and 2.
Belgium, Russia, 1-2.
1 and 2, baby.
I think this is one of the more boring groups in the tournament because realistically you only have one good game, which is Belgium against Russia, which I'm also tipping to go 1 and 2. I think Algeria are a growing nation. I think they're starting to produce better players. They're starting to get playing time in Europe. And Korea, I mean, who cares about Korea, really? I really like Kurzhakov out of Russia. I think he's going to have a decent tournament.
You don't give a shit about Kim Jong-soo?
No. Ki Chung-pong. And Belgium is a really, really good team, and I could see why everyone's favoring them to go at least to the quarters. Very, very, very strong physically. Very, very, very good technically.
We saw they have a great keeper in Courtois.
Yeah.
Nice Champions League's final.
And they have an absolute animal in Lukaku, who could score goals for fun. I can go on and on and name good players from this Belgium team.
No Christian Benteke.
No?
No.
He wasn't selected? They also left Nainggolan. Golan.
I think he's hurt.
If Nainggolan Golan was Italian, he'd walk into the Italian starting 11. And I say that without exaggerating. And he's being left off this Belgium team.
Wow.
So that's just to tell you how good they are.
The wealth of talent.
Wealth of talent. So yeah, Belgium 1, Russia 2, Korea. I hope they lose every game. I still haven't forgiven them for the 2002 debacle where they managed to cheat their way to the semifinals. So I wish nothing but footballing misery for the country of the Korea Republic. Algeria, enjoy while it lasts. What more could I say?
I agree with Alex. I wish nothing but the worst wrath for Korea Republic. Them and that scumbag Gus Hiddink, piece of shit bastard. Alex brought up coaching and Fabio Capello, and that was the reason of why Russia and Korea had past success. Besides the probably, match fixing that was going on that we never really, got concrete evidence about, but we knew it was there. Yeah. In the likes of Gus Hiddink, who coached Russia and South Korea.
But now Capello's coaching.
And now Capello's there, and Alex is a big fan, to say the least. But I favor Belgium. Second place, look, I honestly don't know too much about Russia, but I mean, South Korea, like I said, I wish nothing but the worst wrath for them. And then Algeria is also a team I don't know too many players from their team other than Hassan Yabda,
And
Goulam, and Taider from Internazionale.
So, but you're going Belgium 1, Russia 2?
So, who none of the three are really necessarily world class players, but I mean they're decent players. And Goulam's, I would imagine somebody who's going to be taking dead ball situations for Algeria. I don't know. So I'm going to go with those two.
Perfect. Standout players? Besides, not besides
Hazard?
Davies. I think Hazard's going to have a really good tournament. I mean, people saw him this year in the EPL. He was one of the standouts from Chelsea.
If you can do it with Chelsea, I guess you can do it on
The national stage.
yeah.
I'm hoping that Dries Mertens will start some games and pop in some goals because I think he's definitely capable. I also like Kurzhikov from Russia, probably their best player. And that's pretty much it. I don't think I won't even bother mentioning anyone on South Korea because frankly, I hope they all die.
So, Alex, you really don't mean that. So
No, I don't.
Yeah, really.
I don't.
You really don't mean that, especially not about
Park
Jong-woon.
Park Jong-woo.
Or Song Hong-min or Ji Dong-won.
He's good.
they're all good guys.
They're all very good players. Very, very good players. And nobody wishes that they will die. Nobody at all. At all. Okay? My standout player is going to be Eden Hazard as well. I think he's going to be very important for his team.
Okay, so everyone, Belgium 1, Russia 2.
That's it, Dio.
Unite tonight, you're up.
So we're going to go on and talk about the rest of the tournament, how we think it's going to unfold. So if we're looking at my brackets, I have Brazil playing Chile in the first, Spain, Croatia, Colombia, England, a rematch of their Confederations group game, Italy, Japan, France taking on Bosnia, Argentina taking on Switzerland, Germany taking on Russia, and then Belgium taking on Portugal. If these are the brackets, I feel really good about a Spain-Italy semi, Argentina-Belgium, sorry, not Spain-Italy friendly, Spain-Italy quarters, Argentina-Belgium quarters, and Germany versus France, and then Brazil versus, I would say, Colombia in the quarters. So it's looking pretty good for the South American squads. I think our things are shaping up for a Brazil-Spain final, which I think is the final that all the neutrals want to see. Again, the rematch of the Confederations Cup final. And probably that FIFA also wants to see. Or maybe even Brazil, Argentina. The Battle of South America and a World Cup final could also be, a very intriguing matchup. I think if we might have the possibility of seeing Argentina against Belgium, I think that's going to be a mouth-watering affair. So that could be there's a lot of potentially very interesting games in this tournament bracket.
Definitely. I agree with you 100%. I'm not really a big fan of the fact that, I don't know. I don't see Brazil going all the way at it, but I don't see anybody else either stopping them. I mean, if you're an anti-Brazil guy, what are you hoping for? You're hoping Brazil loses, right? But they won't lose with the setup that we have them going through. They're gonna make it to the final.
You could have them potentially facing Brazil, Netherlands in the round of 16, which I think Brazil are a better team than the Netherlands. I think they should easily win that one.
Well, that depends on the Netherlands, honestly, because I think the Netherlands has the potential to beat the players to beat Brazil.
I don't think so.
At all?
I think Brazil playing at home is just too strong for someone like Holland.
Well, listen. I think we disagree. Bello. Mike, anything to say?
About what in particular? Brazil, Netherlands?
No, about the
how do you think
the rest of the
tournament's gonna
denouement.
unfold?
Well, if I can just look at basically the way the brackets are going to pan out for me. Look, A really fun match, Colombia, Uruguay. That's going to be fun. All the South American teams are going to be fun to watch, with the exception of, I guess, Ecuador. The way I have it going is basically I see a Brazil-Argentina final. Brazil taking it all. And I think that would honestly, it's maybe what FIFA wants, and I think it would be a fun show for everyone to watch. And I remember even a Brazil-Argentina friendly, how heated that game was, and what a spectacle of a soccer match it was.
It's never friendly between Argentina and Brazil.
And if we could replicate the magic that we saw
World
in that
Cup
game
final.
in a World Cup final, I think that,
It's like coming.
It is.
Can you believe it? I'm in the gym. I'm calming.
And all these people who, only tune in to watch soccer once every 4 years, that might give them a reason to really watch, the big players play at the club level. I think it's going to be a fun match to watch, basically, and I think it's really going to get people going.
Yeah, definitely. I think because we already saw Brazil, Spain be the finalists at the Confederations Cup. I mean, obviously I want Italy to reach the final. I want Italy to win. But I've kind of accepted that it's not going to happen. I mean, if it does, that would be great. But I mean, as a neutral, I would love to see Brazil versus Argentina, just because the tournament is being played in South America, and the stakes are probably, that's going to be the most important Brazil-Argentina match possibly in history.
Well, listen, Brazil still needs to go through Germany in order to get to Argentina. That doesn't seem too easy, if you ask me, honestly.
Another fascinating match, I think, would be to see, because eventually the way things might work out is we might find ourselves in a situation where Brazil is playing a team like Uruguay in the quarterfinals, and how special would that be for Brazilians who've lost, a World Cup to Uruguay in their homeland. Yeah. Exactly.
So it'd be a big rematch and some revenge.
Exactly.
Good job, Mike.
Thanks.
How do we feel about Italy possibly being that team that grinds out results in tournaments, who always lives up to their opponent?
I think it's a different team. I think it's a different team from what we've seen in the past. Lippi's, I guess Italy grinded out some results. Was a little bit lucky, if I have to be completely honest. Against the Socceroos, I guess, on a controversial penalty shot.
No, that was a penalty.
Look, some people said it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
But,
Brazil, Spain, not Brazil, Spain, but Italy, Spain as a possibility of being a quarterfinal match. And this will be the chance for the Italians to reach the semis and get revenge on Spain, who humiliated the Italians in the Euro 2012 final. I know that all Italian fans want to see Italy beat Spain in a major tournament again. It's been since World Cup '94 where we haven't done that. And I think if Italy managed to reach the quarters and somehow get a victory over Spain, I think that's going to really take a lot out of them. And I think whoever they meet in the semis, whether it be Argentina or Belgium, I think is going to have their way with Italy. I don't think Italy's going to be able to. I think they won't have any juice.
I think they're definitely out in the quarterfinals. I think as soon as they face one of those top first-tier teams, they're out.
I don't know. We saw some moments, small moments of brilliance from Italy early in the game yesterday that I thought were promising.
We didn't see enough of it.
No, not enough throughout the whole game. But we can't take Ireland lightly. I mean, they don't really play it like a friendly. They're playing competitively. They don't have a ticket to World Cup, so I don't know. You can't underestimate. You can't talk down the other team either too much.
With the way Ireland played yesterday, frankly, I'm shocked they're not even in this World Cup because I thought they were really good.
I thought they played well too, and I think they've missed out on the World Cup too often. But no, I don't. I think Italy can go pretty far because they do have a good team.
Look, with the exception of previous World Cup editions, if we see that Balotelli isn't playing the way he was playing last year, basically there's no world-class player up front or in the midfield with the exception of Pirlo. And then Italy's always been able to rely on a really, solid back line, the best back line in the world. We don't have that anymore.
Oh, well, come on. Chiellini? Barzagli?
I'll say Chiellini. Yes, Chiellini.
Yeah, but even Chiellini would have never made those really good Italian teams of the past.
Right, I mean...
He's good for today's... You guys also have to understand that the game is so fast, and a lot of the talent in the world, they want to be wingers, they want to be number 10s, they want to be forwards. So there's a lack of quality in defenders. This is not just an Italian problem. It's a worldwide problem that really good defenders are hard to come by these days. So yeah, Chiellini is good by today's standards, but he's not. If this were like 20 years ago, he would be an average defender. Like no way was he ever on the level of an Ancelotti or a Baresi or a Maldini, etc.
Okay. All right.
Argentina. Nothing there. You guys don't think they?
Well, I think when they face Brazil in the final, that's where
Who would win that
stops.
game?
Brazil.
Brazil wins this.
Brazil wins this for me. I mean, I'm just making my selection based on how I've seen Brazil play in the Confederations Cup. Okay? Because if I make my prediction based on how Brazil's played in friendlies, or based on how Brazil would play outside of their country, then I will have a different type of prediction.
Right.
But I really think that a guy like Scolari had a really big impact on the team. I really thought that even when they didn't have the ball, they looked super aggressive. They looked like they wanted to win every single game. They looked a little bit like, Inter under Mourinho. Whenever they lost the ball, they got it back, and then showtime.
Yeah. I was shocked at how good Brazil played against Spain. I was expecting a better game from Spain.
All the games.
But
All
Spain
the games.
Spain looked completely spent, and they had nothing left. And Brazil basically wiped their ass with them, which was great to see. My mind tells me Brazil, but for some reason I have a feeling about Germany. I think that the times of relying on historical cliches might be finished, because people say that European teams have never won on South American soil, but there's a first for everything. The same way that Spain were chokers 4 years ago and they managed to win, so they broke that taboo, and now I think it's time for another taboo to be broken. German teams are usually very well prepared. I like this German edition. They have a very, very, very good midfield of young attacking players, and I think that's what's gonna carry them. So, well, not that I think it's going to carry them. I have a feeling about them. I think that they could be the winners. But I mean, on paper, it's hard to argue with Brazil.
Plus, any tie is as good as a win for them, maybe, when you're in a knockout tournament.
Who?
I'm talking about Germany, and going potentially, past the 90 minutes against a team that basically doesn't lose in penalty
kicks.
shots.
Yeah, the best team in the World Cup in major tournaments on penalty kicks.
But again, cliches.
Yeah, it might be the time that that taboo gets broken.
A lot could happen in this tournament. There's a lot of possibilities.
Who's your winner, Jeff?
Well, listen, obviously I can't say anything new here. There's no... Germany, I really think that they do have the talent to go far. Having one of the greatest leagues in the world with some of the greatest players in the world, it's really difficult to... But of course, you're saying that something very, very obvious, where Brazil at home is unbeatable. And they did play very, very well. I just have to say, emotionally, I don't want Brazil to win at all. I don't want that to happen.
Why do you hate Brazil so much?
6 World Cups it could possibly be.
Exactly. It would just be too much dominance. It would just be too much of localization of power. I mean, I don't know. I need to see some fresh faces. I just want the prize to be distributed a little bit more. They don't need any more than they already have. And so
They don't need more titles.
They don't need definitely more titles.
How would
no.
you feel about it if Italy won or fifth? Would that drive
I would feel great because then again, look, they're younger players that are the players that are coming up. The younger players can work hard enough to get it. I think there's enough talent in.
I thought that all Portuguese people hated the Italian team.
No, I think Italian teams they play a very respectful kind of soccer. I think it's a beautiful kind of soccer. So I respect Italian soccer very much.
Yeah, I don't get the hatred between Italian supporters.
I think
and
that
Portuguese
maybe comes
supporters,
from jealousy. I think that maybe comes from having more of a prestigious league. The Portuguese league is a little bit subpar. I mean,
yeah, but you guys do better than us in Europe, so.
Well, listen, it's starting out. It hasn't always been that way. It's the past few, with the exception of Porto, it's been the past few years. So let's just hope that keeps going, and maybe we can get as much recognition. But I think definitely Italy, if Ballo decides to put his penny on properly and start taking the game a little bit more seriously, I think he can carry his team. And he definitely has people behind him that can give him the ball, that can give him service. So there's no real reason why he shouldn't be putting the ball in the back of the net, especially with the legs that he has.
So I'm going to throw the question back to you. Who's going to win this tournament?
Listen, I believe that it's going to be Brazil. Realistically, I say Brazil.
And who's your gut feeling or surprise? That
I'm going to make two categories. I'm going to say a local being a South American team. I'm going to say Brazil, most likely realistic choice. Underdog being Argentina. Well, not much of an underdog considering the names that they have, but just to say. And outside of South America, I'm going to say it's either Germany or France coming in and making a push for it.
You seriously think France
I seriously think that France can make a push for some silverware.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, looking at their road to the assuming they'll get to the later stages of the tournament, they could play Bosnia first round. We assume that France can win that game.
Yeah.
And they'd be playing the winners of Germany-Russia, which most likely will be Germany. And in that case, I don't think that France would.
It's definitely not a write-off.
No.
No, it's not at all a write-off. Especially knowing that there's a lot of French players playing in Germany, and there's a close relationship between the two countries. Yeah. I think that it's definitely competitive.
I like this French team. I think they might be a better team in the next Euro at home. I think that's when they're gonna put their best foot forward, especially with the emergence of guys like Paul Pogba. But I don't see them doing it here. I think that South America is
I don't see
a
them
bridge
going
too
all
far
the way either.
for France.
I'm gonna say Germany, then Spain, and then outside chance France.
The thing is, since we're putting the focus on France, if we were to look at them possibly progressing past the quarterfinals and getting over that hurdle in Germany, then they would likely face the winner of probably a winner between Colombia, finishing first, like it's a given, I would say, in their group, and probably a team like Uruguay in Italy's group or England. And I think there's some more possibilities there. I don't know. I can see how Jeff would pick, France as being the dark horse of the tournament, and then maybe picking up momentum and going really far. I see it.
You see it? I don't see it.
Well, like we said, if they don't do anything, they do it all. So
yeah, I agree.
Okay, guys. So tell me, who is your MVP and who is your Golden Boot?
Neymar, player of the tournament, and Golden Boot.
Both?
Wow.
You think he's going to get the Golden Boot?
I think he does it all. He silences his critics who tell him that who are saying that Neymar is not as good as all the big guns in Europe because he didn't prove himself with Barcelona. He didn't win anything. All of this pressure he epitomizes, I think, Brazilian soccer. And if I was a Brazilian guy, you know, I would be happy to have somebody like him on my team.
That's definitely the FIFA fairy tale for sure.
I see Neymar MVP, but I'm going to say Higuain Golden Boot simply because if you look at Argentina's group stage, I don't see how Bosnia, Iran, or Nigeria is going to stop Higuain being flanked by both Kun Aguero and Messi and Di Maria.
Here's the thing, Al. If I was the coach of Argentina, you know, I'm looking at this group: Bosnia, Iran, Nigeria, and if I'm not mistaken, Argentina's playing against Bosnia the first game.
Yeah.
So that's their biggest challenge, right?
Yeah.
Now, assuming Argentina gets full points against a team like Bosnia, looks pretty easy. I mean, if I'm the coach of Argentina, I don't need to play my best players the second or third game. I don't need to play Messi. I can rest him. I have the luxury of going into the round of 16 or the quarterfinals with a completely rested team. So for that reason alone, I would say that it's almost a disadvantage for a guy like Higuain or Messi, you know,
To play?
if he's looking to win that Golden Boot, because he might not play all 7 games, assuming that Argentina makes it to the final. You know what I'm saying?
Even
If I was Argentina's coach, I'm not playing Messi in that second or third game in the
You
group
have-
stage.
one win isn't guaranteed. One win in your first game isn't guaranteed a trip to the second round. You have to win at least. You have to get 6 points in both your first and second. So expect Argentina to play their full lineup in those first 2 games. I don't see them. I could see them resting players against that game of Nigeria, assuming that they're in first.
Look.
Even in those 2 games, I think that Higuain is capable of scoring 3 to 4 goals, and then they'll most likely reach the second round, and they're on in. He can get more goals. So I'm
Look.
sticking with Higuain.
Assuming Argentina is winning 4-0, 60th minute or whatever against a team like Iran, what's the point of having Messi on the field other than getting him injured?
But I'm not saying that Messi's going to win the Golden Boot. I'm saying Higuain.
I'm just saying like any Argentinian
But
player.
Higuain is
who-
not a Messi
who
though.
would you-
Higuain,
no,
I
absolutely.
can see him
And
staying on the
absolutely,
field.
I would agree with Alex when he says that, you know, Higuain might have a better chance than Messi at winning the Golden Boot. Absolutely. Because he's a center forward, you know, he's that classic number 9 who just puts the ball in the net. But, you know, obviously you're going to try and rest him. If he's so important, you're going to try and rest him.
Gonzalo.
Exactly, Gonzalo.
Gonzalo. Okay, so Jeff, your MVP and Golden Boot.
Well, listen, I'm not gonna stray from the norm or from what the bookmakers are probably saying too. It's gonna be a Brazilian, most likely Neymar, maybe Hulk. I don't know. Maybe Hulk can get crazy and start ripping his shirt off into pieces. Maybe not. I don't know. Other than them, I can't really see anybody else. My heart is gonna say CR7, 10 goals, 10 goal tournament. Basically the whole tournament on his shoulders.
How many times do you think he's going to take his shirt off?
CR7.
Yeah.
After Portugal already winning 3-0 against USA, and you think he's going to take off his shirt again and celebrate like he just won the World Cup?
Yeah.
He did against Atletico.
No, I think what he's gonna do is he's gonna try to carry his team and support his team. They've built a system around feeding him the ball. He's the guy. They don't. Nobody else is the go-to guy. He's the guy. So I mean, if there's gonna be goals, they're gonna be coming from him, and we know that he can score a lot of them. So let's put my heart on CR7 and my money on Hulk.
Hulk to win the MVP?
I'm gonna say Hulk.
All right.
Well, look, going with your prediction on Hulk, taking the Golden Boot, I'm still just to back up my...
Maybe not the Golden Boot.
Just to back up my reasoning behind Neymar, I think that Brazil might not have that number 9, like we were just talking about, Higuain, center forward figure that just puts the ball in the back of the net.
You guys don't fancy Fred?
No, I don't. And that's why I think that Neymar is going to have to pick up a lot of slack. You know, he's going to have to maybe do more, even more than he did in the Confederations Cup, and be that goal scorer.
That animal. He won the MVP of that tournament, right? Yeah, he did.
I believe so.
Yeah, he deserved it. Okay, well, I guess that concludes the preview.
All right, guys.
I guess we're going to preview the matches as they go on.
Yeah, more stuff coming
More stuff coming, so stay tuned
to the Beyonders.
to the YouTube channel and the SoundCloud
Yeah,
for updates.
more updates, more Beyonders stuff.
I'll be in Brazil. I'll try to provide some type
Yeah.
of live coverage
Special
if I can.
commentary.
Just a special
We
treat
should get him on
for all you 6 people following us.
We should get him on like a telephone, like live.
Yeah, live from
feed.
Brazil,
Live from Brazil.
live from Rio.
Live from a favela.
We'll arrange something.
Live from a favela whorehouse.
All right. Ciao, bros.
Peace.
Proof is in the pudding, and the pudding in this case is a football. Booth, eat my goal. The goalie has got football pie all over his shirt.